Welcome to The Explainer. You know, it is genuinely mind-bending to revisit Mohenjo-Daro and realize just how profoundly it completely shatters our baseline assumptions about human civilization. We're heading over to the Larkana district of Sindh, Pakistan, right along the banks of the mighty Indus River. This isn't just some dusty archaeological footprint of a primitive settlement. No, it's the literal blueprint of a city built 4.5 millennia ago that functioned with the precision, planning, and engineering of a modern metropolis. So let's dive into exactly how advanced the society really was and what that actually means for our understanding of ancient history.
Section 1. Murdan Tila.
The name Mohenjo-Daro, or Murdan Katila, literally translates to the Mound of the Dead. It's a chilling, almost Gothic kind of name, right? It was assigned to the ruins long after the people who actually built it vanished into history. But the irony here is just profound. When you contrast this morbid title with the actual archaeological record, you find the exact opposite. 4,500 years ago, this was unequivocally not a place of the dead. It was an incredibly vibrant, highly engineered, living metropolis that was absolutely pulsing with innovation, trade, and sophisticated culture.
To really wrap our heads around this, consider the sheer scale of the population. We're talking 40 to 50,000 people living together in an era when much of the globe was still navigating small-scale tribal living. Built around 2500 BCE, this was the crowning achievement, the absolute largest and most advanced urban center of the entire Indus Valley civilization. When we think about the ancient world, it's so easy to default to images of isolated, rudimentary villages fighting for basic survival, right? But 50,000 citizens. To put that into perspective, that is the capacity of a modern sports stadium. All living, working, trading, and thriving within a highly organized societal structure. It completely redefines what the ancient world was capable of.
Section 2. Waqt se Ali. The true marvel of Mohenjo-Daro lies in its microscopic precision and urban planning. It feels impossibly modern for 2500 BCE. They didn't just organically slap homes together wherever there was an empty patch of dirt. They engineered a masterfully planned grid system, with main streets running perfectly straight north to south and east to west, meticulously intersected by smaller lanes. And then you have the Great Bath. This thing is an absolute architectural wonder. It was a massive, impeccably watertight brick basin that historians strongly suspect was the focal point for religious or ritual purification. Plus, the entire urban sprawl wasn't random at all. It was purposefully divided. You had the raised citadel, likely serving as the center for public gatherings and civic administration, totally distinct from the lower city, where the sprawling residential blocks were situated. But the true crown jewel of this planning, the thing that literally sets them apart from the rest of the ancient globe, is the plumbing. Every single house had its own designated bathroom and a direct connection to a centralized drainage system. We are talking about the world's very first known citywide plumbing infrastructure. Just think about the intense engineering logistics required to pull that off. Thousands of years ago, these people mathematically calculated slopes and used perfectly baked, uniform bricks to construct covered drains lining the streets, seamlessly carrying wastewater away from private homes and safely out of the city limits. Indoor sanitation of this caliber is a phenomenal luxury, yet they standardized it for tens of thousands of citizens simultaneously. It highlights a massive societal prioritization of public health and hygiene that many later empires, literally centuries later, completely failed to achieve. Section 3. Bina Raja Kasher. Now, all of this begs a massive, glaring question. How do you have a city of this magnitude with this level of micromanaged infrastructure, but absolutely no king and no palace? If you look at almost every other major ancient civilization, whether we're talking the pharaohs of Egypt or the god kings of Mesopotamia, you inevitably find towering palaces, grand monuments built to serve massive egos, and endless royal propaganda depicting absolute rulers dominating their subjects. Yet in Mohenjo-Daro, the silence on this front is deafening. Archaeologists have uncovered zero evidence of a grand central palace. There's no artwork, no towering statues, no sweeping murals glorifying a singular monarch. So how does a complex society of 50,000 people manage such perfect civic harmony without a single absolute ruler pulling all the strings? Well, the prevailing theory among historians today points to something truly radical for the ancient world. There's a saying, "Lagta hai sheher bina raja ke, shayad elected logon se chalta tha," meaning it seems the city was managed without a king, perhaps run by elected representatives. It genuinely looks like an early attempt at an egalitarian society. When archaeologists study the ruins, they find that wealth and essential resources, like access to those high-quality multi-room brick houses and the incredible plumbing networks, were remarkably evenly distributed across the population. Because of this lack of extreme wealth disparity and royal monuments, experts believe Mohenjo-Daro was managed by a council of representatives or elected officials. Imagine that, an organized, functioning, decentralized system of governance thriving millennia before the concept of democracy supposedly originated in ancient Greece. It forces us to completely rethink the evolution of human governance.
Section 4. Mashhur Nishaniya.
When we look at the artifacts left behind, two specific discoveries give this civilization a distinct, very human face. Because we don't have grand royal monuments to study, it's these smaller, intimate items that tell the real story. First is the dancing girl, a stunningly confident, relaxed bronze statue of a young woman. What's incredible here isn't just her casual, almost modern-looking posture, but the highly advanced lost wax metallurgy required to cast her in the first place. It indicates a society with deep technical expertise and the leisure time to actually dedicate to complex art. Then we have the priest-king bust. This is a small, highly detailed stone carving of a bearded man wearing a deeply patterned meditative robe. It gives us a fascinating glimpse into their intricate fashion, and many believe it might actually represent one of those community leaders or council members we were just talking about. These artifacts might be small in physical stature, but wow, they speak volumes about a rich, highly sophisticated artistic life.
Section 5. Aaj ka hal. Looking at the life cycle of the city, the most jarring part isn't just its meteoric rise in technological dominance, but its sudden, utterly mysterious disappearance. Around 2500 BCE, this great city was constructed, and it thrived as a global hub for centuries. But then, somewhere between 1700 and 1900 BCE, it was completely and inexplicably abandoned. The bustling grid streets just went entirely silent. To this day, the exact reason remains one of archaeology's greatest cold cases. Did shifting tectonic plates alter the path of the life-giving Indus River? Was there a catastrophic climate event or prolonged drought that decimated their agriculture? The absolute truth is still buried. The city sat forgotten, swallowed by the earth for thousands of years, until the 1920s, when it was dramatically unearthed by archaeologists. Its profound historical value was later cemented globally when it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1980.
There is, however, a very harsh, urgent reality we have to face today. Mohenjo-Daro is currently under severe and immediate threat. That intricate brickwork that miraculously survived safely underground for over 4 millennia is now fully exposed to extreme weather, rising groundwater, and devastating salt crystallization in the soil. These environmental factors are causing rapid, aggressive erosion. The very walls and drainage systems that stand as a testament to early human genius are literally crumbling into dust before our eyes. If massive, sustained conservation and protective efforts aren't aggressively maintained, we run the very real risk of losing this irreplaceable piece of human history entirely. It is quite literally a race against time to save the ancient future. It is a complete drop-the-mic moment for world history when you realize that 4,500 years ago, the people of Mohenjo-Daro were utilizing indoor toilets, sophisticated baked brick plumbing, and citywide drainage systems. Meanwhile, in Europe, at that exact same point in time, there were absolutely no systems like this at all. None. It entirely upends the traditional linear narrative of human progress we are so often taught. It forces us to completely reevaluate the intelligence, capabilities, and societal structures of our ancestors. If a society this advanced could engineer such marvels, thrive without an absolute king, and invent complex public health infrastructure millennia ago, only to eventually vanish into the sands of time, well, what other incredible ancient futures are still out there, just waiting to be unearthed?